Joe saw this story, and I thought, "Oh my God, I gotta get Ian Jones on." Ian Jones, let me warn you, you are my favorite musician. So to stay number one in my book, I can't have you curse on the air. Okay with that?
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm good with that.
Okay, because when I sent you the story, you're like, "Oh my God, let me at that guy." I was like, look out.
Yeah, okay, maybe that was a little rambunctious of me, but yes.
Okay, so here's that guy you're talking about, Mickey Schulman, the founder of Suno AI, which we have used, so I feel bad that we've done that. Here's what he says about music and artists.
We didn't just want to build, let's say, a company that makes the current crop of creators 10% faster or makes it 10% easier to make music. If you want to impact the way 1 billion people experience music, you have to build something for 1 billion people. And so that is first and foremost giving everybody the joys of creating music. And this is a huge departure from how it is now. It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
I knew you'd have a problem with that. Hang on.
People enjoy
Why did you say that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making.
Okay, so this guy's basically created this AI device which allows everybody to be a musician. Because let's face it, it's not fun creating music or having to do the hard work of creating really good music that's lyrics and great chord progressions and the rest that goes into it. So as a performer, as a creator, as an artist, you must want to retch when you hear this.
Well, I don't really want to retch. I just giggle a little bit. Because not everyone is supposed to make music. I mean, hopefully everyone enjoys music. Mm-hmm. But not everyone is supposed to make music, just like everyone's not supposed to be a doctor. Not everyone is supposed to be a radio personality. You know, we are predestined, I think, and we are put on this planet to do certain things. And if you're one of the lucky ones, you figure out what that is, hopefully better earlier than later.
Yeah.
And so I think, I mean, I have my own thoughts. I was just telling someone about it earlier today about how I think music is written and how musicians and songwriters or let me just go back and say artists, whether you're a songwriter or a painter or a poet, how that works. And I have my own personal beliefs. And I think it's great that if they want to create a program, if that's what it's called, I don't really know. It's not really my wheelhouse because I was not put on this planet to create programs or write code or whatever it is. I'm here to create art. And it is very hard work, and you have to take it very seriously. And if you do it long enough, you learn that you have to do it with dignity, and you have to respect the trade and respect the craft. And part of that's hard work. But it's very enjoyable. You might bang your head against the wall a few times along the way, but it's very enjoyable.
And so, Ian Jones, when you sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and you work on a lyric and you try to express an emotion through that lyric and the chord change and the key change, everything else goes into it, that's part of the effort itself. It creates something that has value, right? So, for the instantaneous world that this guy would like people, everybody can now create art, music because it's going to be so much easier for everybody. He obviously wants to sell as many people this app as possible, but in the end, is it art and is it something that people should respect?
Well, if this guy creates an app that allows people that otherwise would not be able to do it, and they're able to create something using AI, and they feel good about it, then that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I think that's great because it's going to allow them to maybe tap into something, and maybe they'll be able to go a little further and to the point where they don't have to use the AI. In a nutshell, let me tell you what I think. I think all the songs that ever were written and all the songs that ever will be written exist as energy. And I don't want to get all hokey and be weird, but
no, it's not hokey.
Floating around in the universe, whatever. And there are certain people who are, for lack of a better term, like a medium, and they're able to channel that energy. And then when that energy gets to them, it's their job to interpret it and put their own spin on it, and then put it out And then let's say they take it and they record it. Hopefully they do it well. So then that energy goes out, and then you, John, can listen to that music, and then that energy, if they do it correctly, affects you a certain way. It might make you sad. You might cry. It might be an upbeat jamming song that you put on before you want to go out and pre-funk for the night or whatever, or you want to relax, so you put on a classical piece. That's that energy that's been interpreted. And there's only so many people that have that ability. You know, most of the stuff that I write, I mean, this is going to sound hokey, but I don't feel like I write it. I just interpret it. I do a lot of stream of consciousness writing where you have to be able to get yourself into the right space, and then you can interpret that energy. And, you know, you might have a line like, you know, the Evergreen song we were talking about. Yeah, you know, the first line of that was written in a fishing boat in Commencement Bay, salmon fishing. You know, it's 9 a.m. Sure don't feel like August. Those were words. That was a conversation between me and my friend. And then he stopped and he goes, if that's not the first line of the song, I never know what was. But when I went back to my studio back in California, and I was bummed because I missed my friends. It was in a totally different environment. I didn't know the terrain. I couldn't really go hiking because there's rattlesnakes and scorpions, and I'm used to hiking up by Mount Rainier, you know, so I know that area. But I miss my friends. I miss Washington. I miss the mountains. I miss the Puget Sound. And I got myself in this headspace, and I was playing this progression in this weird tuning that my buddy was telling me bugging me to write in. And, you know, hey, it's 9 a.m. Sure don't feel like August. And then, boom, the rest of it came in like 15 minutes. I didn't write it. It just happened. And so I'm really happy that people like that song. I've had so much feedback that people are like, oh, I moved away from the Puget Sound, and man, I hear that song and it reminds me. People that I've never met sent me emails about it. That's my job.
So if it's created through a computer as opposed to the hard work, it's losing some of the authenticity, and I don't mind the woo-woo stuff. It loses the energy of from one human soul to another human soul.
Yeah, so that's a great word. I would say that when an individual creates something from the heart, it may not be a person that is able to channel stuff all the time, because no one can channel stuff all the time. And God, I wish I could turn it on and off. I'd have a lot more records. But even if you do it once, that is going to have soul. A piece of music has soul if it's done correctly. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be recorded well. It can be the most garbage recording of the world. I mean, you look at The Ride by David Allan Coe. That's such a wacky original recording, but the song itself is so good.
Yeah.
Listen to John Prine, you know, Townes Van Zandt, Graham Parsons, and then you go to, like, you know, David Crosby, Stephen Stills, Neil Young, you know, the Beatles, all these people. Even, you know, there's even hip hop stuff that I like. I mean, listen to the Beastie Boys, for crying out loud. That stuff means something. It's got soul.
Yeah.
You're not going to tap into a computer and get Angel from Montgomery.
Right. Or
it's just not going to happen.
Or Tom Waits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that guy, I mean, of course, it's Tom Waits. So, I mean, there are certain people, you know, listen to Dylan. I've been listening to a lot of Dylan lately because of the movie.
Right.
He said the exact same thing, Ian. He said that all his best songs came to him from an energy, from like a supernatural force, and then at some point it just kind of stopped. And he's like, I'll never be able to do that again.
And Paul McCartney said that his music came to him while he was dreaming. So he would be asleep, the music would come to him, he'd wake up, he said, and there it was. So...
Yeah, I did that. There's a song called I Can't Seem to Drink Her Off My Mind. I woke up with that song completely finished in my head, and I wrote it down in my underpants.
We didn't need that. We didn't need that last part about you and your underpants, but all right, we'll take it. Well, Ian Jones, continue
to... visual you don't need.
Continue to touch souls with your great music.